Hello, welcome to another McLaren Fans podcast. Joining me this week, as always, is Sarah. Say hello, Sarah.
Hello, Sarah.
And Andy Romson. Say hello, Andy Romson.
Hello, everyone.
Excellent. So, not much to talk about since the last podcast.
Oh. Nothing's happened much, has it?
No, not really. No.
Bit of a quiet season for us, really, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, mid-table obscurity kind of thing. Yeah. Well, actually, tell the truth. It's been pretty good, actually, hasn't it? So I can't remember when our last podcast was. Was that? It had been about a month ago, but I think we've had 3 races since then, haven't we? So
definitely before Mexico, and it was before America, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think we've had Mexico, Brazil, and the USA quarter. And this is the thing, right? Why do you never believe McLaren anymore? Because at each race weekend they've gone, don't think this is going to suit our car very well.
This isn't the right circuit for us, so please don't get your hopes up.
Yeah. It's a sharp contrast to the Honda years where they'd go, at this circuit, we will be like 20 brake horsepower off the Mercedes pace or something like that.
Yeah, and then we'd all sit there crying into our cup of tea. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not going to knock it. It's brilliant and it's great. And it's weird because it's kind of almost becoming the norm, isn't it? And that's a very strange new feeling to a lot of us.
It's weird because next to my desk I've got this post-it note. Do you remember this?
Double McPoints. Yeah.
So I think that was sort of at the start of the season. We when we scored double points, we were like all so excited about it.
Yeah.
And now people are getting upset because we're coming second and not winning the race behind Max Verstappen, who we're never going to get past, and he's winning everything. But that's how far we've come, and you really can't forget how far we've come this season. It's massive, you know.
If after the tests and after the first 2 races, anyone said you will get 5 podiums in 6 races,
I'd have thought they were shitting us, you know.
Are you shitting me?
You shitting me? No, but we're cautiously optimistic because things like the Honda years burnt us a bit, didn't they? You know, we used to get excited. I used to buy a rocket red shirt that I never got to wear. Now I'm thinking. Yeah, and now I'm thinking they're lighting the sign up, Papaya, when we get on the podium. Why aren't they releasing a celebration like, you know, the equivalent of the rocket red shirt? I want a shirt to wear when we get on the podium.
I still have a T-shirt when it was Vodafone years. That was the win. It says win on top on the front of it.
Yes.
And I've worn it once because I managed to buy it right at the end of our glory years, and I wore it once with Daniel Ricciardo.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we're in a really good place. There's been some amazing papaya progress. Making a little phrase there. Yes. Papaya progress. But indeed. Yeah, I mean, what a turnaround. And like I say, what a first world problem to have as a McLaren fan, that we're like a little bit despondent because we started the sprint race first and Lando ended up second. You know, well, it's amazing, you know.
Yeah. You know, but even then, you know, Oscar's won a sprint race this year.
I know.
And you know, we'll get on to sprint races later because let's be honest, I'm still not the biggest fan of what they are. But
Me neither.
Discuss that a bit later on.
Don't you believe what Sky F1 are pushing? And we'll get onto that as well. Yeah.
Despite being told a million times that we will like this format, we don't really, do we?
Let's do it now, Andy. Let's do it now. We're there.
Shall we?
Yeah, come on, Andy. Let's do it now. The agenda can be mixed up.
It can be, right. It's time for Andy's rant.
Andy's rant.
Oh, hang on. It would help if my microphone didn't just shut itself off at that point.
I can hear
you. Yeah, hang on. It's just default to WhatsApp. Oh, you wouldn't think I worked in tech.
None of us.
Right.
Talking to 3 IT professionals here.
Right. Anyway, Andy's rant. Sprint races. What the hell? Right. Now, I get it from one side. People, do you know what? Extra points. It's done us well this year in the championship. and maybe without them, we wouldn't be so, as far past Aston as we are. But for me, there's something fundamentally wrong. Now, I get it. I get them going, do you know what? We want to have something that happens on a day just to make it interesting and things like that. But for me, it's disruptive. It's changing the format of the weekend now. Yes, we used to go right FP1, FP2, FP3, quali, the race, and you'd build up over that race weekend to the race where the race was the most exciting thing, and it was like, you get that race day excitement, you get that, oh, here we go. But with a sprint, I find it dilutes that a little bit. It dilutes that race day feeling. And it probably really didn't hit me until kind of this weekend that that's what was there for me. That was just like, because we pretty much had a precursor of how the race was going to go on Saturday for the sprint.
Yep.
And, I can only kind of sort of put it down to, I understand where F1 are coming from. There will be people out there, and let's be honest, and it's not me saying this, it's the pundits and everything else that are saying that all the young'uns have got the shortest attention span. They're not going to sit for a whole race. They might just watch the highlights on YouTube, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, right? I'm going to give them a bit more credit than that. Most of the young people that I've met who are newer fans, I'm not even going to call them DTS fans because they're newer fans to the sport. They've got as much right to be there as everyone else, right? They may follow a driver, they may follow a team, right? But they'll watch the races. They're actually watching the races. They're not turning off halfway through. And I don't get it. I don't get where this agenda's coming from. And I can only feel that it's being pushed by F1 through the media to us to say, well, you will like this. You will like this. There's no reason you shouldn't like this. Now, when the sprint day was Friday, it made a lot more sense to me. Do the sprint, get out of the way, unlock Parc Fermé, have a practice session on the Saturday, do the quali. You feel like you've still got the race weekend, kind of almost like it was before. Sprint Fridays become a thing. Even brand it as Sprint Fridays, that kind of thing. But also make it into a separate championship. Don't let it count towards the actual F1 points. Make it a sprint championship. Make it a handicap championship, something like that. You've got, if you separate it from the weekend by having a clear day at the beginning of the weekend, then you've got a chance to do much more around it. Reverse grids, pull a number out the hat to where Max Verstappen will start on the grid and see if he can pass everybody. It's almost like, if you've got the PlayStation F1 game, you get these kind of challenges where, it's raining in Monaco and you've got to pass 6 cars within 5 laps, that kind of thing. But that's it. It's not going to go away, but make it its own thing. That's what I'm kind of getting at, I think.
I'm with you on a lot. And my thing, which you did hit, was on Sunday when Max overtook Lando and Max got 2 seconds in the lead. We then knew what was going to happen for the rest of that race because we'd seen it the day before.
Yeah, exactly. And then what's the point of that? There's no point to it, is there?
Can I add two things? Can I add 2 things to your comment? So number one, as a person that travels to races, I don't like the sprint format. That's because on a Friday, I like going around, trying out different grandstands, walking around, looking at the different view. Compound that with the fact that when we went to Silverstone, the first year they did a sprint, I think they put the prices up and then there wasn't a sprint at Silverstone that following year. But the prices of the tickets and the prices of hospitality and everything had gone up. And I was told that was because, well, now there's 2 races in a weekend. So it was used as leverage to just rip us off for a bit more money. Now, I'm not getting at Silverstone for that. I just think that that's going to happen everywhere.
Not anywhere like that's previous for that, is it?
No, well, yeah, exactly. Ryanair of Formula One. But yeah, I just don't like what it does to things like that. And if I hear one more pundit, and some pundits that I really like, and people I've read on Twitter saying Fridays were just a boring thing. They were, I loved Fridays. They're not doing what we're doing. They're not going to a race, walking around, looking at the circuit. Their lives are very different to ours. So don't speak for us,
On Fridays, you could walk the track and you could see a car take 16 different corners at 16 different angles. You could see it from the front, see it from the back. You could see like Silverstone. You could spend half an hour at Beckett's watching it go through there. You go around to the village complex like for another half an hour. You could literally walk that track in the 2 practice sessions and see that car on every corner from every angle. I loved that. That is something you don't get to experience on TV.
You've also got those fans that go where they take the cameras with the big thing on the end.
The lens.
Yes. The lens. Yeah. And they take a lot of, they spend the Friday taking the photos because it's easy to get around the track and everything else like that. And I get it. And I think, what really actually stood out as well was that I think they asked some of the drivers in one of the press conferences about it. And they went, I think it was Lando actually just turned around and went, well, they don't listen to us. If they're not going to listen to the drivers about what the drivers want, and I'm pretty sure the drivers have got some good ideas, they're in the races, they know what they want to do. They probably don't want to actually race a precursor of the race the next day anyway. They probably want something a bit more fun. But if they're not listening to the drivers, they ain't listening to the fans either. So,
do you know one place where they've had to listen to the fans as of yesterday and the day before is Vegas, where the fans haven't paid for some of the stands and they're taking stands down and reallocating fans.
They've done what? Sorry.
I read a few news reports yesterday where they haven't sold out some of the stands because they're just too expensive, is the hypothesis. So they've moved fans out of the stands, one of the stands that hasn't sold out, into other areas, and they're not doing that stand.
And is it outpriced? Are they getting them like a refund, or are they still?
No, they're getting moved to another area.
Getting upgraded or whatever, I guess, aren't they? It's like if you turn up at a hotel and they give you a suite as an upgrade, you're not going to complain, are you?
Exactly.
Well, I've said this a million times. I got married in Las Vegas. I thought when they announced the race, wow, that's going to be great. I'm going to be able to persuade Mr. Merritt to go there because he loves places like that. And then I looked at the ticket prices. I couldn't afford any of them. And then when I saw a cheaper ticket that was 500 quid, it was access to a fan village during the race where you cannot see the track. That's £500 each to not see the race. So I'd love to go to Vegas. I've entered every competition with every team. I'd gladly be a social influencer and walk around trying everyone's things for them. But right now, if it's that price, people like us aren't going to be able to go, are we?
It's just symptomatic of F1 not listening to fans. And the sprint weekend is one great example. Vegas is another great example.
Yeah.
But if you were somebody like that Machine Gun Curry person, then you'd be
Kelly.
All right.
Right. He couldn't have been less impressed with life. During that minute, Martin Brundle gave him a good minute of screen time for a lot of people.
He did.
He couldn't have been less impressed.
My biggest disappointment was that when he actually asked Brundle to do something, play air guitar, air piano, he wouldn't join in. And I thought, come on, Martin, you've been quizzing these people for years. Okay, he's not my cup of tea, but he's asked you to do something, just go along with it. And Martin looked like almost shocked that he'd been asked to participate in some way. So yeah, I don't know. And he left the race early, shock horror. Why was that mentioned in commentary? Who cares?
He didn't enamor to me at all. I didn't warm to him at all. I'm sure he's a very nice person. He probably sings lovely songs about, sheep or something like that. But who knows?
Do you know who are very, very nice people?
Go on.
Brazilians?
The team on Oscar's side who did that change and the replaced the floor and the rear wing in unbelievable time.
And I bet he still had time to validate it as well.
There was a phrase Andy used when we talked about this earlier: quicker than a quick fit fitter. I can't say it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't get quicker than a quick fit fitter.
That red flag was very well timed for us.
It was.
and I know you might, from the outside, see Oscar's finishing position and think, well, was it even worth putting him out again? But it's great test data. It's more experience on a track he's never been at before. He's trying the tyres out and feeding back that data for Lando, and it was a great turnaround for them to get him out. So, yeah.
And also, he's still a rookie, even though he's done so well. He's still a rookie. He's still, if there's one kind of small, tiny, weeny criticism I could say of something that he still has to learn, it's tyre deg during a race. So get him out there on the tyres, get him to learn a bit more about that. Fantastic, And I know that there was issues still with the car, so he couldn't have the pace. But
he got hit by a bloody car up his bum, didn't he? I mean, he was lucky not to be spun out of the race or injured with the flying wheel going through the air.
The attitude it shows, to say that we're a lap down, we've got a broken car, we're still going out to race. And they were still racing. I don't care we're a lap down. We've been worse many a time. We started in a different country with grid penalties before. Go out and race. And I loved that. I couldn't care if we were 20 laps down if the car's broken. And if you can fix it. And not only that, it's a test for the mechanics. How quickly can we genuinely replace the floor and genuinely replace the rear wing?
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah. Hats off.
Hats off. So much hats off that none of us are wearing hats. There you go.
I've got a few I can grab.
Me too. Andy can put a car on his head and look like he's at the Japanese Grand Prix.
I could do. I could try that. Maybe I'll do that for the next podcast.
So seeing as we've gone off the agenda, how do we want to loop back round into the agenda then, guys?
Well, we've just talked about Oscar. So should we talk about Lando?
Lando.
What did he do this weekend?
I think he did all right. I think he came second.
I believe he was there.
Yeah, I think he broke another trophy.
No, he just took the lid off of it.
Didn't he come
I think he was disappointed there wasn't like chocolate coins inside or something like that.
Yes. I was very happy to see him doing his champagne bottle again, though. I do always love that.
Yeah.
He set the fastest lap, and was it by a second? It was a second faster than the next fastest lap. So I don't know the exact number, but it was well out of the league.
Yeah.
Fastest lap, driver of the day, on the podium.
On the podium, yeah.
Yeah.
So remember a few races ago, people were talking about Oscar's got him now. Oscar's right up against him, and I think Lando's just kind of gone right. Challenge accepted. Go up another level.
I think he has gone up another level, but I don't think it's because of the fight with Oscar.
No.
Hasten to add, Oscar was very unlucky yesterday. That wasn't of his doing. I feel that because the car feels better, Lando is getting a sniff of the fact that he can get nearer to Max, and he wants to go out and try that. Now, I know he had one go at it yesterday, and I think he was very sensible not to wear the tyres out, take the life and the energy out of them, and have another go at that, or even risk of coming together. Because for us this year, second is a really good haul of points, and that's what we need. So, I think he's done a great job. But I don't think it was because Oscar was nipping at his coattails. I think it was just that he feels the car's more pacey now, and that gives him, that confidence compounds itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think there's they're both not going to be second and third every race or anything else like that. A double podium is fantastic for us, but it's not going to happen every week. I mean, even Red Bull don't do that. So it's that kind of thing where we've got two cars that can fight for points. If you've got your little post-it note there again, really, still at this point, that's what we want, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good haul of points every week. And yes,
we want consistency as well. That's what we really want.
Yeah, and you're going to have issues like it's not Oscar's fault.
No, of course not.
And you're going to have issues where, kind of we don't quite do that for one reason or another, or but we seem to have a generally good, reliable, fast car.
Yep.
It's not a Red Bull, but What did I say over the weekend? Speed, papaya. Speed is now measured in the color of papaya.
Nice.
Have you not noticed that on the TV when they say the gap, he'll catch him in so many laps?
Yeah.
They've changed the color and it's papaya. It's not orange. Not orange, anybody. It's papaya. You know that what it means? We're coming for you. We're going to get you.
Do you know I love about the last half this season is the prospects for 2024.
Yeah.
This car will be fundamentally derivative of the 2024 car, either way.
Yeah.
So there's stuff that we're doing today which will impact 2024. It's not a change of regs. It's not a whole new build. It's an evolution. And the fact that, yes, Red Bull probably haven't updated their car since the second race of the season. They've probably stockpiled all their updates for when they actually need them. But no one else has. Everyone else is fighting for championship points, and everyone else is fighting for every single point we can get to get that 10 million per place in the young constructors.
Yeah.
Yep.
No one's stockpiling apart from Red Bull, so we are looking very, very good for next year if it does just evolve. I can't wait.
But not just that. Let's say we finish. We're currently fifth in the championship. Fourth, fifth.
Behind Ferrari,
Currently
Mercedes,
fourth
Red
in the
Bull.
constructors.
Yeah, so fourth in the constructors. So we're not even going to get. I'd say at this point we're the second fastest car, second fastest team, but we're not. That's not going to be reflected in the drivers' championship. So we're not going to lose as much wind tunnel as Mercedes. So that'll benefit us.
So here's our stats. We scored 17 points in the first 8 races of this season.
Yeah.
Then we had the Austria upgrades. We're now on 282 points, which puts us fourth in the constructors. And Lando is fifth in the drivers' championship on 195 points alone.
Yeah.
There you go.
What turnaround? Nice. When you put it like that. Yeah. Full season of that next season, please. Thank you.
And that links nicely to something else we were going to cover today. That's an amazing season, and 3 of us have agreed on that, haven't we?
Yeah.
So that's why it was so sad this weekend when the quali on Friday night didn't go as perfectly as we would have liked, to see some of the online abuse that was being thrown towards the team and individual team members. Some very personal things, some very bad things were said. And I'm absolutely disgusted by that. And I think all of us tweeted something about that over the weekend, because that's just not right. It's not on. And you're not a McLaren fan if you put stuff like that on social media.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly. What I would like to say is it's okay to be disappointed. We gutted. I was. Everyone was gutted. The 1,000 people working back at the factory, they were gutted. The drivers were gutted. The people who make the pasta, they were probably gutted. It's a whole team effort, right?
Yep.
And while somebody's calling out one person and being abusive towards them, you're essentially being abusive to everybody else in that team as well.
Yep.
And that's just not right. It's fine. You can be upset. You can be gutted. You can be disappointed. But what you can't be is abusive and personal with that. And that's where the line was crossed for me. It was just, what was posted online by not just one individual, so many times, the same thing kind of almost copied. When the original post was removed, was, to wish somebody to lose their job because of one qualifying, ridiculous, right? Now, I know we all have a bit of a laugh at Ferrari's strategy being a bit crap, and I'm sure that the Ferrari fans do exactly the same. But even in that case, it's somebody out there doing their job. The circumstances in which it happened were incredibly exceptional as well. So, fuck me.
Yeah.
Just wind it in a bit.
Yeah. I just think that.
Think before you pause.
What kind of arsehole have you got to be to personally attack someone like that? That's someone's dad, someone's brother, that's someone's son. That's, we could write a song about this, but These are real people. Now, it's wrong to attack the drivers and wrong to go for famous people, but it feels even more wrong for me that you're going for normal people, who are doing their jobs. And that's why we were on 17 points in the first half of the season, and now we're on 282, because these people have been working their bollocks off to get us where we are today.
Yeah.
The thing that really gets me is, like, fans, we don't make the car go faster. We do not help with any aero. We don't make the car look prettier. We don't attract many sponsors. What we do though is give support, and we literally try and make the people doing the jobs feel better, feel bigger, feel more empowered, more bold, comfortable. Like, we make them feel that their efforts, they know we feel it. So the people who do the night shift, sweeping the floor at the MTC, those people, they don't have to do that. They can go find another job somewhere else, but they do their bit for the team. The people that source the nuts and bolts, the people that do all the jobs that we don't see, we support them and we love them because they're brilliant and they get our car on track.
Yep.
Our job as a fan is to support, help, praise, do all the positive things for those people. Our job as a fan is not to get the knife out and stick it in someone's back. Our job as a fan is not to be negative. Yeah, we can be disappointed. I agree. We can all be disappointed. Yeah, we haven't won 12 championships in the last 12 years. I'm disappointed. No, support, show love and show support. We're supporters. Yeah. You're not meant to be kicking people when they're down. There was a photo actually. McLaren tweeted out a couple of pictures on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and there was a photo of a few people sat at a table. And I said to Andy, like, I hope that conversation going on there is a case of, how are you doing, mate? Are you all right? Anything we as McLaren can do for you? Yeah. And I bet it was, because McLaren have such a good and open approach to mental health as well. People don't need to finish their day job, get on their phone and go, oh, I've got this now to deal with. If you can't, I block, and I block, and I block. I've met people in real life who are nice, and I've blocked them, and I tell them why I've blocked them, and I show them the screenshot of what they tweeted, what they bothered to waste their time tweeting. Get a life. If you can't tweet something nice, don't bother doing it at all.
Yeah. You must block a lot of people then, because Twitter can be a cesspool at times.
Yeah. I think we've covered that well enough. Just let's move on to something a little bit more positive. And yeah, what's next on the agenda? So, Andy, I think you sort of tweeted that you have some race day traditions.
Do you know what I do? And because they're race day traditions, I'm not doing it now. So at weekends, there's things I do during race weekends. And I wear a ring that is a McLaren ring. And I tweeted it out, so we probably retweeted it in the podcast one. I'll only drink out my McLaren mugs. I'll only wear McLaren t-shirts.
That's every day for you.
It's every day. What are you on about?
I will always watch the race wearing my hat. There are things that I will always do. So the qualifying comes on, I run and grab my hat. I'm inside, it's fine. Go grab my hat, put it on. I've got my t-shirt on. And we will only drink out of McLaren mugs during, and luckily I've got a lot of McLaren mugs.
Me too.
Most of mine are thanks to you, Sarah. And there's little things that I do as a fan, and it dawned on me on, like, I think it was Saturday. I was like, nothing I do here makes our car go faster, but it makes me feel more connected, and it's me feeling connected to the team.
Oh, there's quite a few sort of other people do the same. I think Alan Sabatino said that he has some lucky McLaren socks that he's had for 11 years or something like that. And I was glad when he clarified them. Yes, I was glad he clarified that he washes them in between races. But yeah, if anyone else out there's got some sort of race day traditions or anything, we'd love to know. Do you have any, Sarah?
Yeah, generally I always wear team kit, and I'm a total full kit wanker on race day, head to toe, mate. Yeah.
Trainers included.
Yep, trainers. they're not McLaren socks I've got, but I've bought some over the years from other companies that do McLaren socks. So I'll always wear, even if it's just that I'm wearing an appropriately coloured papaya pair of socks or something like that. We tend to go with these things, don't we? But yeah, tend to drink out of a McLaren mug. If Nick brings me a cup of tea and it's not in a McLaren mug, I'll reject it with a joke, of course. If I'm wearing a hat at the start of the race and we're doing well, I won't take it off even if my head's really itchy.
Right.
I will still wear the hat. And I would just like to qualify one thing that you said, Mr. Robinson. We can't influence the race. Fuck off, we can influence the race. I shout at the television. I watch every race live. I don't want to watch a recording of a race. And when people say, why do you get up and watch it live? I say, because when I shout at the television, whether I send my good vibes or whatever, I believe that's doing something. Right? It's no different to football fans shouting at a football match. I feel like I'm part of the team and I'm part of the race.
I've got a question there, right? If we were all at the same race and we were all on the same corner, if we all breathed in at the time that our driver was coming towards us and reduced the drag and breathed out at the time that the other cars are going around and increased the air resistance.
So what you're talking here is FDRS, fan DRS, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe Martin Brundle can take some time to explain that to us during the race because we apparently don't know what anything is.
I like it. I only have one tradition, right? And it's obviously because I'm getting older, but lap 22, I have my own pit stop. Yeah.
Is it during the pit window though?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. But it's lap 22, right? Do I need to refuel? Do I need snacks and drinks? Go to the loo, come back, watch the rest of it. Nothing ever seems to happen on lap 22. That's what I've worked out.
If it makes you feel better, Andy, you're coming up to the point where my dad is now when he falls asleep on lap 7. So you've got that to build up.
I'm hoping that I can last more than lap 7 to fall asleep. I can't ever remember falling asleep watching a race.
I have loads of times. I think it's because I'm relaxed, because especially on a race day, I rush about to get everything done, to get there to sit down and watch the race. And then I chill out and I watch the grid and then the race starts. And then if it's a not totally inspiring race and it's a bit boring, then I might nod off. And
I might have fallen asleep when I've tried to get up to watch like a Japanese FP1 or something like that.
The number of times I've got up to watch Australia-Japanese FP1 and I've watched the first minute and then I've fallen asleep for 58 minutes and I've woken up for the last minute.
Do you know what? I've got something that can solve that. No problem whatsoever. Go to Japan, go to Australia. I found that when you go to the places, it's not the middle of the night there.
Oh, but you do get jet lag.
You do.
Just a mention on the way by. It's not on the agenda. Vegas. Have you seen what time the race is for us?
Oh yes. Yeah.
No, what time is it?
It's like 6 o'clock in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah, in Vegas? Local time. No, for UK time it's 6 a.m, but local time it's like 11, 12 o'clock at night. I think it's even later, some of them.
They want it to be the headline event on the Saturday night. So it's going to be, 8 p.m, 9 p.m or whatever it is in Vegas on the strip, like you're out for a Saturday night. But for us, and I mean, I can't complain because there's people all over the world who listen to this podcast who'll say, well, what do you think it's like for me in Australia, you lucky bastards? But we've got some really odd times this weekend. So
qualifying is at midnight. The race is at 10 p.m. local time.
Wow. What time's quali then on the
qualifying's at midnight on the 18th. So literally 00 hours.
It says 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. quali.
But for local, for us, yeah. So local time it's midnight. For us it's 8 a.m. So
SP1 is at 4:30 in the morning on the Friday till 5:30. I can make that. I'll just be getting up for work.
Well, at least you won't miss it like all the poor people who are still at work when the Friday night's quali is on because of the sprint weekend. Another reason.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know one of the good things about all the good results is we get a discount code for the McLaren shop?
We do. But that's been
Yeah.
peeing me off a little bit because number one, I buy a very expensive coat and then they reduce it a week later. And number two, that's often before it's even arrived because I am amongst the many people who are having McLaren store issues at the moment. And I don't like to moan about the team, but it seems to be a big thing at the moment. Andy, you've been having problems as well, haven't you?
Yeah, about 6 weeks I've been waiting for something, and I emailed them, and I'm getting sporadic emails back saying, "Oh, this is out of stock." Yeah, okay, and it's like, fine. It wasn't out of stock when we ordered it. It was on stock on the website. What's gone on? So it seems to me that a lot of people have had very similar issues to us where things haven't. It seems to all to be due with this 60% off weekend when people ordered stuff that they've just not had the stock or not had the stuff on the website. And whilst they can say we're busy, there's it's the communication part of it that's been rubbish. But
I ordered some things for people for Christmas presents. You know, I'm getting people in my family, and I have had an email telling me twice now from the customer service that it's been dispatched. I've just ordered some Vegas gear, and I'm really nervous that I don't hold out any hope of getting it.
you might get it for Vegas next year.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I hope they get it sorted out. All I would say is that in an industry where time is of the essence and tenths of seconds make a difference, to have such a shoddy logistics pipeline like that, and it reflects badly on the team, and they need to do something about it.
Indeed so.
I will just say I have made some people aware. I'm sure you have as well, Sarah.
I have indeed.
Yes. Right. Well, we're going to have to wrap it up there. It's been another good podcast. What I will say is that we're going to do something slightly different after Abu Dhabi, and we will let you all know in due time. But yeah, be prepared. Oh, go on, Sarah, quickly. 30
Order
seconds.
your key rings. Christmas key rings, magnets. Have a look on my store. Sarah Ware's Etsy store. You know the one.
And they'll arrive before any of your McLaren store gear gets anywhere near your house. Right. And we'll end it on that.